Celebrity is not a business model, and while fame can fill your first order, it won't guarantee your 10th order. Beyoncé launched Ivy Park with Adidas, and the Wall Street Journal reported lackluster sales. Eventually, Adidas ended the partnership in 2023. Gwen Stefani launched Grove Beauty in 2022, and it quietly shut down less than 4 years later. Kevin Hart launched Hart House, his vegan fast food chain. Closed locations and never scaled the way its name suggested it would. And yet, Rihanna launched Fenty Beauty in 2017 and built a billion-dollar brand. Tracy Ellis Ross launched Pattern Beauty in 2019. And she's now a keynote speaker at major retail conferences on how to win in the textured hair market. Beyoncé launched Sacred in 2024, gained 2 million customers in its first year, and reportedly generated over $200 million in revenue in 2025. Same entertainment industry, same celebrity advantage, wildly different outcomes. So with Cardi B launching Grow Good Beauty this April, a haircare brand 3 years in the making, developed in partnership with Revolve Group, priced between $14.99 and $19.99, the question is not whether she's famous enough to launch a haircare brand. She clearly is. The question is whether she has built something that can survive beyond the launch hype. Today, let's talk about what it takes to build a sustainable celebrity haircare brand, the market, the economics, the distribution, and the competitive dynamics. And then I'm going to apply that framework to Grow Good and tell you honestly what I think it needs to win. Depending on how you define the category, the black haircare market is worth somewhere between $7 billion and $8 billion globally. It is growing at 6% annually and is projected to reach $15 billion by 2035. North America dominates with 40% of this market. But the numbers that really matter for understanding why celebrities keep entering this space are these. Celebrity beauty brands collectively surpassed $1 billion in total sales for the first time in 2023. Celebrity beauty buyers spend approximately 25% more annually than the average beauty consumer. And the celebrity hair care category was specifically described by industry analysts as underdeveloped heading into 2024, meaning there was genuine white space despite how crowded it looks from the outside. The reason this category is underdeveloped relative to its size is historical and important. For decades, black hair care was dominated by large multinationals like Unilever, P&G, Revlon, who served the market without truly understanding it or even being a part of it. The products were often formulated without genuine expertise in textured hair. The distribution was concentrated in specific channels, and the consumers, black women with natural, curly, coily, textured hair, were historically underserved by the very industry that was profiting from them. But the natural hair movement changed that. Starting in the 2000s and accelerating significantly into the 2010s, a generation of black women simply stopped relaxing their hair and started looking for products that actually worked for their natural hair texture. That shift created an enormous demand for a new category of products. And this was such a big opportunity for founders who genuinely understood the consumer because they are the consumer. Now, this is the market Cardi B is entering. A market with genuine growth, genuine unmet need, and a customer base that is both passionate and discerning. Now, the question is whether she can earn their trust. Celebrity beauty brands look glamorous from the outside. The launch events, the social media campaigns, the sellout notifications, but what they look like from the inside tells a different story. Here is the unit economics reality of a hair care brand priced between $15 to $20, which is exactly where Grow Good sits. In beauty, the cost of goods sold, which is the actual cost it takes to manufacture the product, typically runs at 20% of the retail price. Sometimes it's 30%. The $17.99 product, that's roughly $360 to $540. Add on top of that packaging, which in hair care can be a significant cost, especially if you're investing in premium materials to signal quality. Now, if Grow Good sells direct to consumer through its own website, the gross margin looks attractive, which will come to around 60% to 70% before operating costs. But then you add shipping and that attractive gross margin starts to erode. Now, here is where Cardi B has structural advantage that most direct-to-consumer brands don't. Customer acquisition cost, which is the money you spend on paid advertising and influencers to get sales on your website, is usually the one variable that kills DTC economics. Cardi B does not have that problem at launch because she is her own media channel. One post to her audience and the first wave of orders arrived without $1 spent on paid social. But the thing is, that advantage is strongest at launch and it fades over time. Once the launch energy settles, Grow Good has to start earning repeat purchases just like any other brand. And it's going to do this through product quality and community. If Grow Good moves into retail, say Ulta, Sephora, Target, which is where the volume is, the retailer could take up to 50% of its retail price as their margin. On a $17.99 product, Grow Good might receive just $7 to $9 wholesale. After manufacturing costs, the contribution margin per unit in retail is thin. The business only works at scale where volume is high enough that manufacturing costs come down and marketing spend is spread across millions of units. And that is why the pricing of Grow Good is worth examining carefully. $14.99 to $19.99 is an accessible price point, and deliberately so. Cardi B was clear that she wants to meet her audience where they are. Now that's a genuine and thoughtful brand decision. But it also means that the margin per unit would be lower than it would have been at a premium price point like Circade, which sells for $25 to $50. To build a meaningful business at Grow Good's price point, you need volume. Significant volume. I have looked at enough celebrity brand launches to identify the variables that separate the ones that build lasting businesses from the ones that fade out within 18 months. And there are 5. The first factor is authentic connection to the category. Here, the brands that win are the ones where the celebrity founder has a genuine, documented, pre-commercial relationship with the category. Rihanna has been open about her beauty routine for years before Fenty. Tracee Ellis Ross spent nearly a decade developing pattern and consistently posted about her natural hair journey. The consumer in this space is extraordinarily good at detecting inauthenticity. They've spent years being sold products by corporations that didn't understand their hair. And that's why Cardi B scores well here. She has been sharing DIY hair masks and even her natural hair journey with her fans for years before the brand was announced. An example is the kitchen mask that inspired Get Rich, which is a deep conditioning treatment made from avocado, banana, coconut, and aloe vera. She has documented this kitchen mask on her social media for years. The 3 years of development she describes is credible because the receipts actually exist. This is not a celebrity who just woke up one day and decided to launch a brand. She has a genuine story. Now let's talk about product quality. This one sounds very obvious, but it's where many celebrity brands actually fail. The initial hype drives the first purchase. The product quality determines if there's going to be a second. In the natural hair care space specifically, the customer is sophisticated. She knows what ingredients work for her hair. She reads labels. She watches product reviews. She will try a celebrity brand once out of curiosity or loyalty, but she will only repurchase it if it actually works. Now, Grow Good's formulation credentials look serious. There is the fiber lace complex, which is a proprietary plant-derived ingredient designed to strengthen hair fibers. The addition of the fiber lace complex actually signals genuine product investment rather than a generic white label product with a celebrity's name on it. The brand was developed with Revolve Group, which has significant beauty infrastructure. Whether the formulation actually delivers results for a broad range of textured hair types is something the market will determine over the next 6 to 12 months. And now, that brings me to the third factor: distribution strategy. NIQ data shows that while celebrity brands use social media to launch DTC, they actually find real major growth in physical retail, with the top performers often leveraging major retailers to drive growth. The consumer wants to discover, smell, and touch the product before buying. She also wants to see it alongside the other products she trusts. Grow Good launched DTC on April 15 on its own website, and it's a double-edged sword. DTC protects margins and gives the brand full control of the customer relationship and data, but it limits reach and requires heavy marketing spend to drive traffic. The critical question for Grow Good's medium trajectory is, when does it move into retail and what retailer does it land in? Ulta will be the natural home given the price point and target demographic. Sephora is possible but typically skews slightly more premium. Though, according to Consumer Edge, both Ulta and Sephora are becoming increasingly cross-shopped. Now, Target will give enormous distribution reach, but it risks diluting the brand's premium positioning. And that brings me to the fourth factor, which is the celebrity's ongoing commitment. Every analyst studying this space says the same thing. Celebrity brands succeed when the founder keeps showing up. Selena Gomez posts about Rare Beauty constantly. She wears it. She talks about it in her interviews. She also connects it to her personal story. The brands that fail are the ones where the celebrity did the launch and then disappeared. This is a factor that I cannot fully evaluate for Grow Good because it's going to be a function of what Cardi B does over the next 12 months, not what she has done so far. However, what I can say is that she has a significant ongoing platform. The Lil Miss drama tour has run concurrently with the Grow Good launch, giving it constant exposure. The question now is whether hair care stays as a genuine priority now that the tour has ended. And now, the last factor, which is the Revolve partnership structure. This factor is actually most specific to Grow Good and most interesting from a deal and capital structure perspective. Grow Good was developed in partnership with Revolve Group, the California-based fashion and lifestyle retailer, which reported $1.23 billion in total net sales in 2025. And beauty is actually one of Revolve's fastest growing categories. The partnership gives Cardi B manufacturing infrastructure, operational expertise, and distribution relationships that she would not have had if she tried to build this independently. But the thing is, partnerships like this actually have trade-offs. Revolve takes a share of the economics, and Cardi B does not own 100% of the brand. So the creative and commercial decisions are made jointly, not unilaterally. Now, whether that structure allows Grow Good to move fast enough and stay authentic in a market that values founder authenticity above anything else is something that Grow Good will have to answer over time. Now, let's talk about competition. Who is Cardi B actually up against? Cardi B is not entering an empty market. She's entering one of the most competitive corners of the beauty industry at a moment when competition is most intense. At the premium end, Secret by Beyoncé has established itself as a science-backed professional grade option for the customer who wants to invest in her hair. But when Fenty Hair by Rihanna debuted in 2024, it outperformed Secret's already impressive launch numbers. These are two of the most powerful celebrities in the planet, both with genuine hair care stories, both with massive audiences already built in, and both of them are already in the market. Now, at the mid-market, you have Pattern by Tracy Ellis Ross. There is also Shea Moisture, Carol's Daughter, and other natural hair products which have large retail distribution and also like deep customer loyalty. And at the mass market where Grow Good sits, there are dozens of brands which are competing for shelf space and consumer attention. Now, Grow Good's differentiation needs to come from one of two places. The first one is product performance that is genuinely better than alternatives at the same price point. The second is brand story or community that creates an emotional connection that is strong enough to override price comparison. Ideally, Grow Good should have both. The fiber-lace proprietary complex is a step towards the product performance angle. The kitchen mask origin story and Cardi's Dominican heritage are the brand story. Now, whether those two elements are sufficient enough to carve out durable market share against that competitive field is the central question. Here is something I've not seen discussed in any of Grow Good's coverage. And I think it might be the most important strategic decision the brand faces in its first year. If Grow Good is serious about building a durable DTC business, and the online launch suggests that it is, at least initially, it needs to solve a problem that kills most DTC beauty brands, and that is the repurchase gap. So here is the thing. Hair care is a consumable. A $15 bottle of shampoo will probably last about a month. Now, when it runs out, the customer has to actively remember to reorder. In the absence of a subscription, she'll walk into a Walgreens or a Target and pick up whatever is on the shelf. Or maybe she'll see an ad of a competitor and try something new. The first purchase by the launch hype and Cardi B's platform is the easy part. Getting her back for the second and third purchase is where most celebrity brands fail. Subscriptions solve this structurally. A subscribe and save model turns a one-time buyer into a recurring revenue customer. The consumer never has to remember to reorder. The product just arrives. The brand can then build predictable compounding revenue rather than relying on customer acquisition spend to replace churn customers. If a brand spends $20 to $30 to acquire one customer through paid social, which is realistic right now, and that customer buys once and then disappears, the unit economics is deeply negative. A subscription converts that same acquisition cost into a customer whose lifetime value compounds across multiple orders. And so the math changes completely. The one caveat, and it's an important one, is that subscription only works if the product genuinely works. And that's because a subscription locks someone in. If the product underperforms, it accelerates negative reviews and churn. You cannot subscription your way out of a bad product. The subscription strategy is a downstream of product quality, not a substitute for it. A subscription converts launch hype into recurring revenue. Without it, Grow Good has to reacquire the same customer every 6 weeks. And that's an expensive way to build a brand. A subscribe and save model with a meaningful discount could be the difference between Grow Good building a loyal base of recurring customers and Grow Good becoming another celebrity brand with a strong launch and a quiet second year. So what does Grow Good actually need to succeed? First, it needs the product to work. I mean, genuinely work. And for a broad range of textured hair. not just Cardi B's specific texture type. The natural hair consumer will forgive a lot if the product delivers results, but she will not forgive a celebrity who uses her community to launch a product that underperforms. One round of negative reviews on natural hair YouTube and TikTok will be devastating at this stage. Secondly, it needs retail distribution within 12 months. The DTC launch makes sense to build initial customer base and gather data, but Grow Good's target customer needs to be able to find this product where she already shops. DTC alone cannot reach her at scale. Third, it needs Cardi B's ongoing presence, and I'm not talking occasional Instagram posts. I'm talking consistent, genuine engagement with the brand and community around it. It needs wash day content, product education, and even behind the scenes of how she actually uses the product. Fourth, it needs to solve the pricing margin problem as it scales. At $14.99 to $19.99, the economics only works at meaningful volume. That requires either building a large enough DTC customer base with strong repeat purchases, or getting into retail distribution with enough velocity to justify the shelf space and reduce margins. And the fifth one, and this is the most important one, is time. The celebrity brands that have built genuine businesses did not do it in a launch cycle. Pattern Beauty has been building for more than 5 years, and Secret is more than a year old. The beauty consumer needs to discover the brand, try it, tell her friends about it, repurchase it, and build a habit around it. And that's not a 6-month process. So here is my honest assessment of Grow Good Beauty. The foundation is stronger than most celebrity hair care launches. It has a genuine origin story. It has 3 years of development. It has a proprietary ingredient. It's at an accessible price point that reflects the real understanding of the target customer. And it has a credible infrastructure partner in Revolve. These are not the hallmarks of a vanity project. But the market Cardi B is entering is unforgiving. The consumer is sophisticated and skeptical. If Grow Good delivers real results for real hair, this has a real chance. I create explainers like this every week. If you loved this video, please subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.